Okay. Hi, Udit.
Hi, Lillian.
All right. So we're back again for the second Let's Schmooze, which I love that title. I think that's so cool. Um, I'm really excited to be here with you, Udit. You've given
Me too.
so much of your time and energy to this course to all of us. So thank you so much. That's been
You're wonderful. You're the brains behind everything here.
nah, it's all good. Thank you. Um, okay, so we're going to be talking today about feelings and needs. So, if you don't mind, I'm just going to introduce how I have related to feelings and needs, if that's okay. Um, I um, I have been explaining to a few people around me like what is the deal between feelings and needs, and the way I usually describe it is imagine there's a tree, and on the tree are lots and lots of leaves. And there's a big wind that comes and blows the leaves. And so this wind is causing a tremendous amount of chaos amongst the leaves. So if we were to imagine that, let's say, the wind were the events in our life and the leaves were the feelings that they produce. So sometimes um, we have things that are happening to us, and all of a sudden we're feeling happy, and then we're feeling sad, and then we're feeling anxious, and then we're feeling, comfortable, and then elated, and it gets deeper and deeper, and the feelings get much, much, much more intense. But definitely the events that happen in our lives definitely cause a lot of feelings, and that internally for us can feel like chaos. I don't know about you. Um,
Turmoil.
yeah, lots. And so, how do we look at that situation and say, okay, how can we make sense of what exactly is causing these feelings? So then I refer back to the tree image and I say, so if there's the winds of are the events in our lives and the tree is our feelings, and the leaves are our feelings, then I would say that the roots of the tree that bear down and are not moving are the needs that we have. And so I would say when we look at needs, right? So let's say everybody has a need to breathe. So let's say I was in a situation where I was doing like I was play fighting with my younger brother, and we're kids, and he's sitting like on my chest, and he's like, I got you, like I pinned you down, and I say to him, I can't breathe. How confident would I be in my need for air? So I would be pretty confident. I would say, look, I need air. And then what? So my brother's going to turn to me and say, no, you don't need air. And I'm going to say, yes, I do. I do need air. That's like really important for me that I have air. And so the confidence with which I can say, I need air is the confidence with which I believe that we can look at the whole list of needs and say, this is what I need. And as confident as we are to need air, to need shelter, to need food, is the confidence with which we could have to need a whole host of other things.
So
Um,
I found this very, very refreshing when we first learned it because I felt so at ease to know and understand that these are all basic human needs that I have the right to need. And it was
yeah,
very, very liberating to me to understand well-being and connection and self-expression and all these needs that it's okay that I'm allowed. And as a matter of fact, I need them and that's good too.
I love that.
Very,
Yeah,
very refreshing.
it is. It does feel like, whoa, you mean I'm allowed to need something, and
I'm
and I'm
okay.
allowed to
I'm
have that
okay.
need fulfilled, right? And it's okay. So
Yeah.
sometimes that's just a really, even, allowing ourselves to feel like it's okay to have needs is a need that we need met. um, and so, so I'd love to give an example of something. So let's say I go to the synagogue and I walk into synagogue and I walk into, the women's section, and all of a sudden there's a ton of women there, and a few women turn around and they're like, "Oh, Lillian, hi. So good to see you. I'm so happy you're here." And I get a hug, or I get like a smile from somebody who turns around, and I just get this really nice warm welcome. So what am I feeling in that moment? I don't know.
Let's take out our feelings list.
Okay, so let's do that. I'm going to do a screen share of the
For our
feelings
pleasant
list.
feelings, when our needs are fulfilled.
Okay, so let's see if we have, okay, so here is the feelings, the list of feelings. So I'm going to hide that. Okay, great. Okay, can you see the feelings list?
Yeah, and I have my list
Okay.
here too. I'm never
Okay,
without it.
fantastic. Okay, so I walk into synagogue, everybody says hi to me. I'm feeling really great. What are my needs that are being, what are the feelings that I'm having? So my pleasant feelings that I'm having that are being fulfilled is I feel nurtured. I feel
Affectionate,
affectionate. Yes, definitely. I
grateful.
feel, yeah, so grateful. I love that word. What else? What
How
else
about
do you think?
relaxed?
I do feel relaxed when I'm there. Yep. I feel loved. I feel seen. I
Content,
feel, yep,
perhaps?
absolutely
Content.
content. Yes. Okay. And that's my feeling. And why do I feel those feelings? I feel those feelings because I have a need that was fulfilled. And what is the need that I have fulfilled? To be seen, um,
Connection,
connection, comfort,
fellowship,
yeah, yep, for sure. What else I'm looking? Okay, I'm looking at more needs connected to
belonging,
community. Oh yeah, so the community needs are fantastic. Yep, I love that. Hospitality, welcoming, reciprocity, meaningful relationships. So that's that situation. But let's say I find myself in a position where I walk into shul, to synagogue, and I stand in the back, and maybe I'm there for, let's say even the whole entire, service, and nobody turns around and talks to me or looks at me or says anything to me. So I'm going to move from pleasant feelings to unpleasant feelings. And I'm going to say, okay, what do you think I'm feeling then?
probably a little dismayed, maybe disheartened, a
Mm,
little sorrowful, unhappy, maybe even dejected.
hmm for sure. A little lonely, probably.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Maybe even
I'm,
overwhelmed. You might feel overwhelmed by that.
yeah, I could feel like I'm in this whole room full of all these people, and maybe I feel confused, a little withdrawn, a little embarrassed, maybe even hurt. Wow, there's just so many. I bet you I have so many emotions, so many. And that, like, if I were having this for real, I would really look at this list and then I would pick like my top three, because it's
Mhm.
really, really great to be focused on that. Um,
I might be a
okay,
little irked.
yeah. That's true. Okay, so what do you think the needs would be then?
So the unmet needs in feeling that way, some of the unmet needs, well, the one that I thought of was the most was confidence.
Mm,
Because it's the same group of ladies, it's the same shul, it's the same me, and I would like to have confidence. I'd like to be seen.
mm-hmm,
And we said fellowship, belonging, inclusion, those are community needs that everybody
mm-hmm.
had.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely. So if I were to make this into a sentence, I would say I am feeling um maybe even lonely because my need for what has not been met.
belonging,
Yeah, consideration. So my need for
consideration.
consideration has not been met. So in this situation, then we would move on to the next step.
Okay, so the next step, I believe, is that we would mourn the unmet need.
Mhm.
So I would make a cup of tea and I would sit with Hashem for a few minutes. And I would just open my heart and I would just say, Hashem, this is really, really hard for me. I just want to share this with you. It's really hard when I go to shul, and then sometimes I don't feel that I'm a part of things. I don't feel that belonging. I don't feel that fellowship all the time. And it's really, really hard for me. And I don't have the confidence that I'd like to have. And I need you to comfort me, Hashem, because it doesn't feel good to sometimes feel that my need, to matter, my need for importance is not met. And it hurts. It's not a good feeling, Hashem. And I want to share that with you. And I just need you to comfort me and strengthen me.
Okay. So, yep, I felt that. I really did. So I guess applying as much empathy as possible to us in whatever feeling is alive in us at that moment. Anytime we can be in touch with what's alive in us right now, that's where the most change and the most healing can take place.
Okay, so what would it, I was going to say, what would it feel like or look like for you, Lillian, to have those needs met?
Right. Okay, great. So, I would imagine that if those feelings were met, I would have the pleasant version of that situation. And so I
How
can
would it feel in your
acknowledge.
heart, though? How would
What
it
was
feel
that?
how would it feel in your heart?
What if those needs were met?
Yeah.
Well, the first thing I would ask myself is, how can I get that need met? Right. So that's a question that puts me, instead of being a victim to the situation, I now become, a co-creator in my reality, and I feel empowered to change the situation. So how could I get this need met? And then maybe all of a sudden this whole situation is bringing me anxiety. And now I realize that I'm having anxiety from this whole situation and I need space. So maybe then I would say, well, how can I get my need for space met? And I can say, well, I can quietly slip out, the door, and I can go home. And then on the walk home, I would sit and I would think for a minute, and I would say, you know what? The feeling of confidence, of not being seen, is let's say an illusion. It's a limitation that I put on myself, and that I have those needs met. I am seen. I am heard. I do have partnership. I do have fellowship. I do have camaraderie. I do have connection. And then when I think that, I can begin to vibrate at the frequency of those needs being met, and I can ascend and go up and up and up from stages like apathy and grief and fear,
Anxiety.
and yep, and then go up the feeling, the scale of emotions. And then what happens is that once we say, I do have those needs met, and I can be in a space where, that happening is just an illusion, then maybe I can take my walk, and then I can go turn around and I can go back into the synagogue, right? With a
Well, also
higher frequency.
part of what you did when you connected your feelings to your unmet needs is you sweetened the judgment energy already.
Right.
So you've made a shift already.
Absolutely. Yep. Absolutely. No, I forgot about that part. And that's the number one thing. The number one is using our emotions, using our ability to empathize with ourselves in the moment, in what's alive with us now, to sweeten judgment. So I do love that. And
that's
so,
why you're able to walk back into shul and feel differently, because there was a shift.
yep, for sure. So when I think that good morning, let's celebrate, doesn't have to just be actually in the morning. Because that's what I was thinking. I was like, wait, I'm gonna wake up in the morning and say, good morning, let's celebrate. But now I realize we could say, good morning at any point that we realize we have an unmet need. And
Right.
and
And
then
Hashem's waiting to hear from us. He's the best one to turn to.
for sure. And then let's celebrate would be no, it's an illusion that those needs are not met. I can say no, put myself in a position where I imagine those needs are met, and then watch, like, become a magnet for everything that I want to come to me. So
Right, because also you sweeten the judgment. Again, you sweeten that judgment energy in the morning
right,
process. So it goes
perfect,
hand in hand.
love it. All right. So
Okay.
this seems like, is there anything that you'd like to add that you think we missed, or are we concluding
I'll tell
as
you that
schmooze
my
two?
needs and feelings list are with me every day when I journal. And like I found it just to be such an important way of understanding how I feel about things. And it's a wonderful, wonderful tool.
Fantastic. I love it.
Yeah.
That's great. That's inspiring. All right. All right,
Okay,
everybody.
nice schmoozing with you.
Nice schmoozing. All right. Have a good
Okay,
one.
Lily. Okay,
Bye
take
now.
care.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.